Hey, it's Mike Stiles. Here's the Content Marketing Quickie for the week ending March 17th. A new app called Tagly got launched at South by Southwest, and that happened because of how Facebook started treating brands. After brands built pages, built audiences, and helped keep those fans on Facebook, the deal got flipped on them. Now their content would not be allowed to compete based on how good that content was. Organic reach hit the floor, and Facebook became pay-to-play if you were a business instead of a person. Mark Allermitzi built Tagly to be a place specifically for brands' content and the people that want to see it. Liz Batchelor writes that Brian Boland of Facebook Ads Product Marketing says users can be hit with around 15,000 stories when they log on. You are trying to get visibility in all of that. Mark says instead of wasted impressions, consumers pick categories they actively want to follow. This gives all brands in the platform access to targeted engagement and 100% organic reach. Thank goodness Tom Edwards of Epsilon was at the 23rd edition of South by Southwest Interactive, because that means we didn't have to find a hotel room or chase down a pedicab. He gives us the hot 5 topics that dominated the big show. Like virtual reality, which is no longer a curiosity. It was really at the forefront with virtual football, VR storytelling, and cinematic VR. Social media giving way to social messaging as people want more intimate sharing and narrowcast networks. AI and emotive robotics, the ones that get us. They know how much we're afraid of them. Dark social, which is sharing that's right now analytically invisible. Radium One says 59% of all online sharing is in the dark, and 72% of sharing is just copying and pasting URLs into email or text. And of course, the Internet of Things is a thing. The global consumer media spend is going to hit $2.01 trillion in 2019, according to the newest stuff from PQ Media. Their annual Global Media in Telecast series. If they're right, that's double what it was in 2009. Here's how they define things. Digital media and technology is media you get over the internet on wireless and digital. Traditional media and technology is that which was originally developed in analog. Who's the world's biggest consumer media content and tech market? The U.S., of course, and it also leads in per capita user spend at $1,160. However, while that spending went up 6.8% in 2015, that's a bit slower than the 7.8% growth that it had in 2014. Apparently, spending on long-in-the-tooth internet media like PCs and broadband slowed down. We're so proud of ourselves, the way we do targeting. You know who's not impressed? Our targets. And it's not just that they feel that way, they're showing it by not being responsive to our whiz-bang marketing efforts. Yahoo, Audience Theory, and Ipsos numbers tell us millennials are probably your best friend because they're most likely to interact with ads that target them. 37% would click, 34% are more likely to buy from brands that target them. But Kimberly Morrison writes they still aren't happy. 34% say advertisers don't really recognize their generation. Seriously, is it even possible to recognize millennials enough? As for baby boomers, you're not sweeping them off their feet. Only 23% even click ads. The lesson? Gotta move past demographics and personalize based on interests, which marketers struggle with. It is so super rare that you hear any bad news about Instagram, so how could I not tell you when it happens? Quintly studied the platform, and out of their numbers, as Quintly's Julian Gottke said, most surprising was the distinct drop in the interaction rate. The average interactions per post are about 40% lower than before. Stuart Rogers points out, you could make the argument it's because Instagram is maturing, but he thinks it's got something to do with the changes it's made over the past year. Changes that made advertisers happy, but maybe not so much users. 60-second ads, carousel ads, ads served up once every 5 to 6 photos. In fact, brand post frequency has gone up 116%. Stewart's research shows 6 out of 10 users are unhappy about all that. So not only is interaction going down, follower growth is slowing. Time to announce another brand content studio, this time the USA Today Network. They're calling theirs Get Creative, and it wants to connect people with ad partners locally and nationally, no matter what the media. Gannett's VP of Branded Content, Kelly Andreessen, will lead its efforts to come up with original stories to put on USA Today Network's platforms. Kelly says with the flagship USA Today and our 92 local properties, we're poised to have an extremely strong impact for our partners. Get also plans to use real-time data to help max out reader engagement, and it'll buddy-buddy with local and national media properties so marketers can deliver content to all kinds of communities. Publishers publish. So who's most successful at it on social? Tanya Yuki of Sharably reports U.S. publishers got 1.5 billion total social actions in February. Most, 707 million of them, were on Instagram, 702 million from Facebook, and 61 million from Twitter. Overall, the top publishers were National Geographic, Tasty by BuzzFeed, where you watch someone else make delicious things quickly, Bleacher Report, E! BuzzFeed Food, which saw the highest growth of the 10, regular BuzzFeed comes next, Complex, Tip Hero, Billboard, and National Geographic Travel. Ask Men saw the most growth of all publishers at 597%. So what kind of content is clicking? For BuzzFeed Food, it was some chocolate ball video recipe, and Billboard killed on Instagram around Taylor Swift's Grammys. If we could get Taylor Swift making chocolates, If you've had it right up to your limit with people stealing your intellectual property, I feel your pain. Scarface, the Brady Bunch, the Constitution, all my ideas. The issue is, it takes a lot of time and money to really protect yourself and register everything you make with the Library of Congress. And that's what you've got to do if you really think someone is going to steal from you and you're really going to want to sue them. So here's Nathan Lands with his startup, Blockeye. Drag and drop and your work is registered and you get a certificate. Will that certificate really protect you? Who knows? It's never been tried in court. But Anthony Ha writes that Blockeye uses blockchain to create proof that you did something in a public database, which Nathan says is better than nothing. Fun fact, he learned from a personal survey only 10% of San Francisco area artists are registering their work. They don't really believe in themselves. It's already not that easy for a lot of us to sell our bosses and organizations on doing content marketing because they've got an easy out. All they have to do is lean back in their chair and say, "Show me how this is going to move the needle on our Tier 1 business goals." Well, you need metrics to do that. And to get metrics around content, you have to, I know you're way ahead of me, do content. But Fairfax's managing director for content marketing, Simon Smith, says we better figure out our industry's measurements and measurement tools. In his humble opinion, you can't measure content marketing like you do digital ads, saying, as an industry, we've got to create some benchmarks. We've got to say this is what good content looks like. This is what brands should aspire to do with their content. Simon says, see what I did there? Brands are obsessed with their owned channels. The appetite to create content is unreal, and they're starting to realize they should own an audience instead of always trying to reach one. Woe is LivingSocial. You may have gotten an email or two from that company, right? Well, they're going to lay off another 280 employees. That's 160 of theirs, plus 120 that'll go jobless when their customer services place in Tucson shuts down. They'll outsource to a company in Jersey for that now. Ingrid London reminds us in her report they just laid off 200 in October. So here's the CEO's task. Try to stabilize the daily deal biz they're in so they can shift to what they want to do now. Card-linked offers for verticals, starting with restaurants. They tested this in Atlanta, and it worked okay. Customers use payment card details to reserve an offer at an establishment that gets redeemed when they go and use that same payment card. Their competitor, Groupon, however, has no problem with the daily deal business model and are super sticking to it, rolling out a refurbished merchants platform that includes a new iPad app that helps them make, promote, and redeem deals. That's it. The transcript is at MikeStiles.com.